Hey everybody, I am here with Imperial Settlers, rolling right, and I am gonna do a solo playthrough of this game in which I will tell you probably just about all the rules on how to play as long as I come across them during my playthrough. And hopefully you get a good idea of how you might like this game and maybe you might want it in your collection. So I will just set up now. This is the rule book, and then we have some favorite tokens. So I'll explain that in a bit. And since I am doing a solo playthrough, I will be using the adventure sheets, and you can see here it says adventure sheet on the bottom left. And as you can also see, I've already played two times. So I'm on adventure sheet 3, and just so you know, all the sheets in this particular what do you call them? I guess packet or bunch of sheets are unique. So each of these are unique. You will never replay something you've already played before. And then we do have this pad of paper as well. So let me just make some room here, grab a pencil, and then here are the 4 custom dice that we will use in this game, and we'll use all 4. Place this back in. Okay, so I'll just place these here, and then I'll give some room to roll my dice, and then I'll explain these favorite tokens. So when you play solo, you're going to want to shuffle these up and then just pick 3 that you'll be playing throughout the game. So I'm going to shuffle them and just randomly pick 3, and this kind of helps with the replayability because not every game will have the same 3. So it looks like I'm going to be using Lucky Coin, Export, and Boon. And Lucky Coin basically gives you a coin, and the coin acts as a wild for the 3 resources. And the 3 resources is wood, food, and gold. And then there's also stone as well. So that's what you'll see on the 3 resource dice. And then here, you'll see the worker dice. Since I'm talking about the dice, I might as well go through this one. This is the worker dice, and it ranges from 3 to 5. And the worker dice tells you how many actions you'll have on your turn. So that will determine how many boxes you'll get to cross out in this game. So we have these favorite tokens. I just explained what Lucky Coin was. That was the one with the gold that can act like a resource. We have Export. This says trade up to 3 different resources, each for 1 victory point. And then Boon. This one says choose a result on a resource die, gain +1 of that resource. So say I had 1 food, and if I chose Boon as my favorite token for the turn, I would get an extra food resource this turn. So these are pretty neat. I like that you do have, you know, a total of 5 of them that you can cycle through as you do your plays. And how it works is every turn you roll your dice. So this will be my first turn. And it just so happens I get 3 stone and 4 actions. So I'll write down my number of actions here. And then I have to choose a favorite token. So after you roll the die, you choose a favorite token. So I will go ahead and choose the Lucky Coin. So I'll choose a Lucky Coin this turn, which means I can get a coin, which gives me a wild resource, basically. So since I have 4 actions, let's see what I will plan to do this turn. I do have 3 stones, so I might as well take advantage of that by crossing the stone out here. So I'll cross out 1 and 2, so that's 2 actions already. So I have 2 left, and I've used up 2 of my stones. I can cross out anything on this side in any order. So you can see here, I can cross out any of these boxes in any order, and then if I do, I activate this. So if I crossed out all 3 for the cherry orchard, I get to gain 1 food every turn, once per turn. For this one, New Horizons, if I cross out all 3 boxes here, and again, this could be in any order, I can use 1 additional favorite token So that's pretty neat. And then rice collector, gain 3-star for each pair of harvested wood spaces. Fuji Apple Festival, trade 1 resource for another. And then this Feng Shui Builders, this is especially for solo mode. Gain 7 victory points for each of these shapes that you draw on your empire here. I'll explain that in a bit. And then we have this last one on the right, Silver Dragon Statue. If I could use my stones here, 4 stones would get me 6 victory points. 2 stones and then 1 action gets me 4 victory points at the end of the game. So I think I've explained enough, but I still have 2 actions. So in my 3rd action, I will try to use... I'll use this one because that might be useful, trading 1 resource for another. And then I'll use my remaining stone for my last action. So that means I just need this 1 box left for this to activate the Fuji Apple Festival. So that's my 4 actions. And at the end of my 4 actions, or at the end of my turn before the round end, in solo mode, you get to draw any of these buildings, almost like these Tetris pieces. There's 4 of them to choose from, and you have to kind of draw them in a way that optimizes so that you can draw the most of these, so that at the end, you've drawn or filled in this shape in your empire. So you see this, there's somewhat of a grid here. So for my first settlement, that's what they call it, I am going to, let's see, I will draw a Fuji Apple Festival. And I'm going to draw it here. Hopefully you can see that. So what I had done is I drew here. And it is the shape of the Fuji Apple Festival. So that's what I drew. And then that is basically what I do there, and then I cross out the underlined number and I replace it with 1 higher of the number. So it says trade 1 resource for another, and because I drew this Fuji Apple Festival shape on my empire, I get to raise that into a 2. I'm going to notate that by writing a 2 here, simply just writing a 2. So that's what you do whenever you draw a building. You get to increase the number that's underlined for that. So now it is my 2nd turn, and I will go ahead and roll my dice. Okay, so we have some variety compared to last turn. We again have 4 turns, 4 actions, and then we have 2 wood and 1 food. And then I will decide to use my boon this time so I could get an extra resource. And I would choose to get an extra apple, so that I have 2 apples. And I think I'll go ahead and just start marking off. I have 2 wood, so I'll go ahead and mark off this wood here. I have 2 apples. I'm going to go ahead and cross off these 2 apples. So that's 1, 2, 3 actions. I have 1 more action left, and I will cross this off. So now that I cross all 3 of the Fuji Apple Festival, I get to trade 2 resource for another next turn. So it doesn't activate the turn that you cross all 3 of the boxes out. It activates the next turn. So I'll complete my turn by drawing another settlement onto my empire. And I will do the New Horizons. So I did a 3 tall, 1 wide shape here for New Horizons. So that means I get to cross out the use 1 additional favorite token. I'd cross out the number 1, and now it is a number 2. And although I increased it, that doesn't mean I get to use it. I still have to cross out these three boxes in order to use this in the future, but I'm able to increase it because I did draw the settlement on my empire. And that is my 2nd turn. Now, my 3rd turn. 2 apples and a wood and 4 actions. So this time, I think I will go for the lucky coin. And I will spend... I don't think I'm gonna do anything with the wood this time. But I'll spend 2 of my actions on the bottom here. So 1 action, 2nd action. And you'll see that there is a bridge here. You'll see this bridge here where it's like kind of like, I guess, grouping this in this box, meaning if you cross out this box and this box, you do get this bridge. So now I've activated this field. So these 4 green areas of this sheet is called a field. And now that I've activated this bridge, I have access to this particular field. Once I activate this 2nd bridge, I have access to this field. So with this first field, you see these resources in circles. I can spend an action point to cross one out to gain that resource, and then I can spend another action to use that resource somewhere else on either this sheet or this sheet. So that's a way to gain resources you may not have in your die rolls, and ways that you can basically just manipulate the resources you have on hand to use. So that's pretty useful. So that was 2 actions. I have 2 more, and I will, you know what, I won't use my food, I'll use my wood, and I'll use my action here, my 3rd action, and my 4th action where I do use the wood, and I've activated this bridge. So now I've gained access now to fields 1 and fields 2. That's my 4 actions. Now I get to draw, actually I get a coin, so maybe, no, I used up my 4 actions, so I can't even use that coin, which is fine. So I will draw, I'll draw the rice collector. So that's this, that. Okay, so I drew the rice collector. So now this is gain 4 instead of gain 3 victory points for each pair of harvested wood spaces. Okay, great. So that's that. Now on to my 4th turn. And then I have a great variety right now of resources. I have wood, gold, and stone in 4 actions. I've been looking out with that 4, consistently been getting 4 actions since the first round. And the favorite token I will use is so export says trade up to 3 different resources, each for 1 star. And I do have 3 different resources, but I think I'd rather keep them and use boon and choose a result on a resource die to gain +1 of that. And I am going to choose the gold, so now I have effectively 2 gold. So let's see what I might want to do here. I think I will spend the 2 gold I'll spend the 2 gold on this. Well, I'll spend 1 of the golds and the wood for this. That's 1 action. I have another gold and a stone, so I'll do that for this because I need 2 stone. The gold will stand in for that. And then that was my 3rd action. Now I have 1 more action, and it will be just to cross this out to get a wood, and only because it says gain 4 victory points for each pair of harvested wood spaces. So I want to be able to try to do that later if I have the chance to fill these boxes. So that'll be my turn. I will choose to draw. Oh, I should also mention these shapes cannot be flipped or rotated. They have to be drawn as is, as exactly as shown here. So you can't really change that up too much, unfortunately. So I'm going to draw another New Horizons right here. Change the 2 to a 3. So now this says use 3 additional favorite tokens. But that's only if I did this. So the point again of drawing these buildings is to get this Feng Shui builders at the end, where I get 7 victory points for each of this shape that I make by enclosing these squares in these shapes. So I'll take my 5th turn. And I got 4 actions again. 2 wood and 1 stone. I will use my lucky coin to gain an extra coin resource, and I will use my 2 wood here. And although, I should mention, although I'm using 2 wood, I'm only crossing out 1 box, which means that's only 1 action. That's 1 action. I have 3 left. And I will use the gold coin and my stone to cross this top part out. And then my final, no, I have 2 more actions, I think, 2 more. I will cross these out. 1, 1, cross this one out too. So now I have 4 actions that I've used up, and I will draw, which shape? I'll draw a cherry orchard shape, which is like a small L. So I did that, and this says gain 2 food now. Okay. My 6th turn, 2 gold, stone, and 4 actions. And for my favor, I will do choose a result on a resource die, gain +1 of that resource, and it'll be a stone. You know what? It'll be a wild, which essentially I could have just done the lucky coin. So I'll have 3 wilds and a stone to use during my 4 actions, and I'll use the stone here. So now I've opened up this bottom left field, and then I will use my 2 wilds. Now I've completed the rice collector, so now I can gain 4 victory points for each pair of harvested spaces. And then my 3rd action will be to cross out and gain a wood resource. I think that's it. Is that 3? Did that 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, I think that's my 4 actions. And now I will choose to draw a settlement, and that will be I'm gonna draw another New Horizons. So that's pointless because it says use additional 4 favorite tokens. There's only 3 available. But anyway, I haven't crossed any of these out, so I don't think I'll be using that bonus anyway. So on to turn 7. That was not a proper roll, so I'm gonna try that again. All right, 4 actions. Nope, this pencil's falling apart a little bit. All right. For actions, I have 2 stone, 1 wood, and then I will do a boon to get an additional stone, and I'll cross out these 3 stones up here for my first action. My second action will be to cross out the wood down here, and then my third action will be to cross out this wood, fourth action, cross out this wood, and I gain I think it's 8. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4. So I can gain 8 victory points because this says gain 4 victory points for each pair of harvested wood spaces. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, which means I have 2 pairs. And 2 times 4 is 8. And so I've used the rice collector bonus 1 time during my turn. I'm pretty sure that's how it works. So I will continue that way, and that is my turn. And I will draw the cherry orchard right here. Okay, and then that means that becomes a 3. I could gain 3 food if I fill this out. My 8th turn. Now I get 5 actions, changing it up for the 8th round. So I have a gold, a wood, a stone, and I will use my boon to get an extra stone. So I have that extra stone plus this stone plus the gold. I'm going to use that stone to cross this out on the top, and then I have 1 wood. That was 1 action. So my second action will be to I don't know, what should I do? I'll use this wood, and I'll just cross this one out because I can do it. That's my 3rd turn, and I think, is that my 3rd? This one, yeah, I think that was my 2nd action. So my 3rd action will be to cross this out to get 2 wood. And then my 4th action will cross this out for 3 wood, so that's a total of 5 wood. I don't think I see. So my 5th action will be to cross this out because I have 2 wood. And then now for gaining the victory points for each pair of harvested wood spaces, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 now. So that's 3 pairs. So that's 12. Now I've got plus 12 victory points. I hope I'm playing that right. If not, I'll definitely let you guys know in the rule book if it's wrong. And now I get to draw my shape, but I'm not sure I actually have any more space to draw anything. So unfortunately, I will have to skip that and just move on to the next turn. Okay, I have 3 actions this turn, 1 round 9, and I will use the lucky coin to gain a wild resource. So effectively, I have 2 wild resources, 1 wood, one food. I will use a wild and a wood to cross out the 2 wood square. I have 1 more wild and an apple left, and I'll use those to... I only have 2 actions left, so let's see. I will use 1 action for this empty box, and then the apple. That's it for that one. So my last turn, 4 actions. I have 2 wood, a stone, and I will use again the lucky coin because I really like having that. I will use the lucky coin with my 2 wood to cross the 3 wood square out. That's 1 action. And then I have 1 stone. I'll cross this out. Use that for my 2nd action. And then my 3rd and 4th action. There's really not much for me to do here. So I'm not going to use it. I don't think there's anything worth using those 2 actions right now, but might as well just cross that out. These 2 blank squares, and then I gain 4 victory points for each pair of harvested wood spaces. So let me just double check that to see if they say anything about the rice collector in here. It doesn't really clarify anything here. Might have to look on Board Game Geek for some rulings on this, but yeah, it happens every round because it says if it is a building with a star icon symbol in their name, it's only triggered during final scoring. Otherwise, it happens every round, right? So this doesn't have that in the name. Only these bottom 2 do. So I will continue as is. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's 3 pairs times 4 is another plus 12. So that looks good to me. This game is now over, and I'm going to start scoring now. So here you look at the highest box and the victory points underneath that you've crossed out, and that is 11. The next row is the wood, and I have 12. For food, I've only reached 1. I did not complete the second box, so just 1 for that. And then for the bottommost, I got 8. And then now in this section, you count how many of these specific shapes are on your empire, and then you get 7 for each of those. So I'm looking for that shape, and it's gonna be 1. Nope, okay, 1. 2. I think that's it, 2. So I get 14. And now I just total all the numbers in this column, and that's my final score. Now I'm supposed to write my name here. So I'll add up my score, and that is going to be 23, 24, 32, 46, 46 plus 8 is 54. That's 54. 66. 66 plus 12 is 78. So my score is 78. And that means, according to this achievement table, that I am a king. So there's this nice achievement table that kind of tells you where you might be according to your score, how well you did. So that's always pretty nice to see, rather than just like a beat your own. It kind of tells you what kind of status you might be. And according to this, I'm a king. And yeah, so that's pretty much the game, and it's pretty quick. If I didn't talk, it would probably be just maybe under 10 minutes. I'm not sure. This might be under 10 minutes. But yeah, very simple to play. I think this would be a very fun multiplayer game. The solo game is not as complex as I would prefer. I'm coming from playing Hadrian's Wall, which is a very complex roll and write, and requires resource management and somewhat of a worker placement as well. So I'm coming from that side of things, where this is very simple. This is pretty relaxing to play, very pleasant colors, and overall a great experience because of replayability. Each of these sheets, as I mentioned in the beginning of the video, is unique. So you have unique village sheets for solo mode, and then in competition mode, it is all the same, I believe. You have the same set of 6 buildings. So you're more in the level playing field when you play multiplayer. So there's both options if you want to play with people or you just want to play by yourself. But anyway, this was my playthrough of Imperial Settlers, Roll and Write, and I hope you enjoyed. Thanks.